Eagerly coming to you live a couple minutes before noon on Tuesday from sunny San Francisco, California. And today I'm going to talk about a decision framework to make decisions, but very specifically how to say no, how to say no to something that you love. And it's something that I have been struggling with this past week because I tend to be a person who can get very, very restless, who's like, ooh, look at this shiny object and this and this and this. But the challenge with that is we say yes to too many things. It can feel a little bit like having ADHD to jump from this to that and the other in search of the shininess without going deep, 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 deep to focus on something. And what's hardest about this is saying no, especially when it's a hard decision to say no because it's no to something you love, especially because, well, yeah, of course I want to do it. But how do you do that? Um so this past week, I got some really good news. I got a talk accepted for a TEDx in Queens, New York, and I was ecstatic and excited about it. However, there was a conflict. The particular date of the TEDx talk is during the Friday of before Labor Day, which is when I had committed to being at Burning Man with some dear friends at a dear camp, bringing one of my dear friends to the Burning Man for the first time, and also planning some art and some work to show there. And man, this really hit me really really hard because it had been a couple years since I had been out to the playa with all the pandemic events, and the previous year before that, skipping because of a conflict on my kids' schedule. And to me, this was an excruciating decision. So this is the decision framework that I used. First, um, use a technique called the five whys to go deeper in understanding of what is this thing that you love. So for me, when I was looking at, Burning Man, it's like, why do you want to go to Burning Man? Just be like, well, I love it. I love the experience of creating an impromptu city out of nowhere and being out there in this magical atmosphere of discovering and possibility and, awe and wonder. So if you go beneath that, it's just like, well, why? Well, it's because it's a living embodiment of awe and wonder that is just so seeped throughout me in a whole dedicated week. And why? Well, parts of the awe and wonder around connecting with people, connecting with my tribe, connecting in Illumination Village with these particular people. And why? Well, it's kind of an annual, or it's been 2 or 3 years, gathering to see these familiar faces and friends. Um, and then if you go why below that, it's like, oh, it's also a chance for me to bring one of my oldest friends, Irene, to this and share this experience with her and build and do this together. So, why continuing to ask and dive deeper and deeper and deeper helps you understand what is it that you love about it and what is it that you might be saying no to, or perhaps you can find other ways to for me get this sense of awe and wonder and possibility, get this sense of deep connection with my tribe, get this sense of deepened connection with my best friend Irene. So when you find the whys, it's less about that one decision. It's about enabling those same feelings if you do have to say no. So if you do have to say no to something, what are you saying yes to? Because when you say one no, something else opens up. And for me, this was very, very clear because it's a decision between A and B. If I say no to Burning Man, I open up the possibilities for more impact, more ability to spread my message, meeting awesome other speakers at TEDx in Queens Village, um, opening up this sense of awe and wonder and possibility for myself and where I want to go with my business, and in terms of sharing my message with other people. Next question, who are you doing it for? Who are you doing this for? Who are you doing this opportunity, this something you love for? And For me, a large part of going to Burning Man was doing it for my friend Irene to help show her this experience and to make sure we can bond, and share a part of my life that has always been part of me with her. But if I think more deeply, you know, it's not the best to make decisions to do it for other people. So ultimately, when I came back to it, it was like, all right, I'm gonna have to say no to going to Burning Man because that's what I need. That's what I need for me to be able to spend time developing and building this TEDx talk. So this question, who are you doing this for, can help unwrap and provide different perspectives for kind of the rationales behind different things. Next part of the decisioning framework is considering the long-term view. When you're gonna say no to something you love, how do you feel? How are you gonna feel about it in 3 hours? Eh, not that great. In 3 days? Probably pretty good because, I typically in my go, 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 do or planner mode would have moved into a different, all right, how do I get excited about some of this TEDx stuff? What does Burning Man look like next year? 3 months? Probably not really gonna be thinking about this decision at all, although I might be because I'll be on the brink of giving a talk. And then 3 years. In 3 years, does this decision even matter? Actually, no, it doesn't. It's not a life or death decision. And I think when we consider the long-term view and this perspective, it helps do this last thing, fifth point of this decision framework, which is release the pressure. I can get so wound up about a big decision. It is life or death if I'm going to say yes or no to it, when honestly, really, it isn't. For many, many decisions that we have to make, that we have to say no to things, often it doesn't really matter anyway at all. If you say yes to it, it might lead to one outcome. If you say no, it might lead to another outcome. But in the long run, does it really matter? What if all decisions are good? A yes is good and a no is good. Thinking in that longer term view, thinking in that any part of the decision will be a gift that'll enable learning and growth and transformation and good things, helps to release the pressure, helps to just like laugh it off and just be like, oh my gosh, maybe this was not that big of a deal. All right. So to summarize, wanted to share this decisioning framework on how to say no to something you love, because that's the hard decision, right? If you want to say no to something that's mediocre, that's not as hard. One, use the 5 whys. Ask yourself why, to go deeper in understanding about why this thing matters for you. Realize that when you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. Consider who you're doing it for. If this is for a parent, a spouse, a child, or what does it mean to be doing it for you versus for someone else? Consider the long-term view. What's this going to feel like in 3 hours, 3 days, 3 months, 3 years? And then finally, what if you release the pressure and know that anything that works, either way of what happens, the decision is going to be okay. That's it for today. Lessons for how to say no to something you love.